Welcome back to another video on Gearsaw Studios, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build yourself this professional nether castle, complete with a perfectly livable interior, so that way you can actually live here, and we even have a little overworld segment in the middle. On one side, we have a very theater-based storage system, and on the other, we have a bit more generically styled nether for our bartering and trading. And you can see here, the whole build can work on any sort of terrain. So let's get right onto it. To begin, go from your nether portal, or at least whatever temporary portal you're using, and preferably build this near important structures. The Y level doesn't matter, just make sure you have a decently large ceiling above you, at least 20-30 blocks. Build a soul soil path from your portal, and build a deep slate staircase to wherever you want your front door to be. You can see here, I've marked it with a bit of concrete powder and a flame design, some blackstone, and a big chunk of redstone blocks, very easily visible. And make sure that it's lined up to anything nearby like bridges. So you can see here, we have a nice big door, we have the deep slate, everything is going to plan. And you can also see we're building pretty high up in the nether. The Y level doesn't matter super much, but if you're too close to the lava sea with your front door, you might run into issues later. Regardless, let's go to where our staircase starts. Basic deep slate, you could texture it a bit more with some cobbled deep slate, although I chose not to. Nether brick, we have some stairs at the bottom to make the illusion of them being taller. We have some fancy railings with the stairs, nice and spiky, and we even have some lamps. Those are optional. And then we have 11 blocks on either side of our portal. You can count them right here. Any even number of blocks is forbidden. Make sure you do an odd number on either side. And of course, add a railing up to your door just to make sure it looks more cool. Then we can see here, we build some railings on either side of those sections I marked. So your interior space might be closer to 9 blocks, but that's okay. Nice and thick, 2 blocks. And then we have these little underground things, the foundations, on the front of the build. We can add some extra things like fire to them. Also, make sure if you're building with night vision, look around without night vision. Although light is more powerful in the nether, and thus light sources are less powerful, still you need to check both methods. Anyways, back to night vision, added some fire because fire is cool. So we have that, and we have this empty 5 block section in front of the door. We'll talk about that in a moment. Put some iron or copper bars, preferably waxed, in front of these, so that way they look a bit more formal, less like we just placed fire there. And in front of our door, we have this little area here with, well, it's just a dig out now. This is where our main lava fall is going to go. We're going to add some nether brick on either side to accommodate for some small gardens we're going to place up here. This lava fall will go around the build and wind down before going into the lava sea, whether by going directly in or by lava fall. Right here, bunch of nether brick to let it down slowly, like it's almost a gate, and then I made a man-made lava fall. Don't let it flow down naturally, otherwise you'll get something really wide and ugly. Instead, make sure you build little lakes and flat areas and clearly stem the flow. When you do all this and add a bunch of lava to prevent all those weird flowing sections, you can make what looks like a set of lava springs, which is really good for making your build feel more atmospheric and less mechanical, player-built whatnot. Then, surround the banks of the lava river with black concrete powder and then blackstone to give the illusion of it being charred. From here, we're just going to do this all around and then make a mini basalt delta in front of this. Now, let's just petrify the nearby area and add little crimson gardens next to our staircases. My build is asymmetrical because there's a staircase only on one side, but if you have a bit more symmetrical, then you can definitely make a larger section for the crimson nylon. Make it only go as far down as the nether brick section of your lava fall. As for the lava fall, everything near it petrified with basalt. We have some spires coming out of it, with some candles, making it look like some weird form of lava coral, which breathes a bit of life into this build, because we want to make sure it looks realistic. Of course, as realistic as a lava fall in this kind of dimension can be. But anyways, we can see crimson nylium completely untouched. We have some red nether brick in there to hide some of the sides of it. And now we have pretty basic area, but we need to decorate it. Ores, pale moss carpet, geysers. You can even add a soul sand valley around this if you're in a nether waste. If you're in any other biome, skip that section. Only do the basalt. But still, with everything here, fancy transition, and what do you know? This whole build is looking a lot better with the improved lighting and disabling of the night vision. And yeah, the extra thing is I added. So we have some campfires under the lava to make it fume. And then down here, we have some weird lava pipes damaged with nether brick stairs. And then you can also see some of the pale moss carpets, the buttons. We even have some ore veins with cobbled deep slate. And we can even hide some resin in here. The geysers, just some gray carpet with campfires under it. Everything here is very meticulously detailed. And then we have soul fire around the soul sand and wild nether wart, like at the legacy console days back on the Xbox 360. These lava things, they just pour lava infinitely and then they go into the lava sea. Of course, those can make more natural lava falls if you want. And now we even have some bone meal in the garden. Everything here is of course very closely detailed to make sure it looks professional. Finally, we have some fossils here, or really just one fossil. I only did one. This skull here, made completely of smooth quartz, and the sides of it are pale shelves. Remember, soul fire can't burn down your buildings, so it's safe to use pale shelves here. And now, we have some very intricate and detailed landscape. And we also have a little bit of lighting, the lanterns on either side of this path. We have some trapdoors with some nether wart, just to make it look like we can harvest these fields. And finally, we even get ourselves a little bit of shroom light. We can decorate this as well. So now, with all this coming together, of course this footage is slightly over brightened, so that was white carpet if you're wondering. Let's add ourselves a bit more lighting, just to make sure the pathway is more interesting. And you can see right here, 6 of them. Blackstone bleeds a little into this path. And we have some decorative stairs. And admittedly, that's not super important for this build. Just making sure you have that landscape right is a very critical factor. As for this doorway, I have something kind of unique for it. We don't actually use it. We just go right around it. You can pause to look at the nether brick formations here to make sure everything works together. And we can even put some chains in front of it, like this is some sort of gate for a castle. I can't remember the actual term for it. Although, you can see here, it would cover the doors, so we'll have to move everything back a block. Then, let's add some of the actual deep slate for our build. If I'm going a bit too fast, you can always put a timestamp in the comments and ask about an individual section. I'll give you a preformed essay if you want. So you can see here, just some deep slate to fill in the sections that our railings made. And it's not the most interesting for now, but you get a general idea of your scale. Because we're putting the build back to a wall, it very intentionally so, although you could build this in a wider, opener area, although you'd have to build it back. Still, make sure that you're building an interior to a reasonable scale. Right here, we have ourselves the front of the build. I added some very fancy windows to it, and you can pause to take a further look. Right here on screen, there's also a close-up of the window if you need a better look. It is gradiented. But anyways, for here, let's talk about the general shape. We're going to add some more of these spikes you see on the front of the build, lots of stairs, and you want it to make it look like the top of a tower. Don't worry about the sides for now, we're going to fill them in later. And you can see here, we have a decent amount of interior space to work with. Just make sure that when we come into the build, there's no stray netherrack. All the walls are double layered as well, so keep that in mind as you design everything. So now, with that, we can see right here a very dramatic entrance. And really all I did was put in basically a clock into the very top of the build. It gets replaced with lava later. For now, we're going to worry about the front entrance. You can see here, chains going up the build because I made the whole thing in by one, and we have some stairs in front covering it. Adding myself some red nether brick accents to everything, and then we also have to do these inside walls, so be careful of that. Now, with everything put in place, we have a general feel for how we're going to expand the build a bit further, like for the sides. We can also detail it with some blackstone walls and deepslate walls. It's just a darker version of each block. And we even put some black wool carpets at the bottom to hide some shroom lights to make sure everything is well lit, and then putting some redstone torches in order to spice it up one last time. So hooray on all those fronts, making sure we still follow the general rules of lighting as we go through the Nether. Now, we're really going to have to expand the build a bit outward, and this is very daunting and where a lot of the time in the build went, because we're going to have to make it, well, large enough to accommodate a base on the inside. So let's start by making maybe about a 9-block protrusion on either side. We have that same window design from earlier and some lava falls pouring down. Pause if you want to take a look, and if you really need help, there's always world downloads available upon request. So we can see some fire on the corners, lava with alternating normal and red walls, and of course we always use that nether wart block and those gradients up there. And you can see how all that works together in order to make a very ominous and awesome build. We have that red nether brick from the inside that I was talking about, and now we have to add ourselves some spikes. Don't forget the backward stairs for those shroom lights for the windows to keep them well lit. Then finally, to make the build appear larger than it is, we're going to add a bunch of black concrete surrounding it, even if there's a ceiling nearby. This helps a ton, and kind of why I recommend building it a bit closer to the ceiling than you'd expect. Of course, if you don't build it too close to the ceiling, then you're not going to run into it, and you can skip the black concrete part for the most part. So you can see here, we want to just flatten the ceiling to make sure we can fit that. And we also have some fake roofs coming in. This is just red nether brick with a bunch of detailing. So carve out an area to make sure that all the roof is flat, and it can be a bit annoying in Basalt Delta. Don't worry, you can put beacons and they ignore bedrock so you can get that insta mining on the basalt. We're going to make this big flat area of just black concrete. Also, you can see here some lava built into those roofs and a little bit of lighting on the very tops with a weird Art Deco carpet made of flame colors. So you can see here, circular pattern, black concrete, and there's even a 1-block gap so you can't see the exact corner of it. And then don't forget to fill in these little areas next to your roofs, add some lava in them, and you can even carve out the area just above them to make them appear taller without still doing an entire roof. You can see like that, from the bottom it looks like it's a complete roof, but we don't actually have it. And it even looks a bit stubbier, so that way it looks much taller, like we're viewing from a weird angle. So now, on this black concrete, we're going to add ourselves some fake extra pieces of the build to make it look like there's more in the distance and it's just far away. And you can see how it all blends together. We add more basic designs to the sides. It's just about the same stuff we did on the front, but a bunch of pillars, and we have some deep slate here, and we can do a little bit of an undetailed back of the build. Add some netherrack to hide areas you don't want to complete, like, of course, the back, hence why I put my back to the wall. And finally, we just mirror it onto both sides, unless you want to do something a bit more unique. In that case, more power to you. These are not exact tutorials for that very reason. So now, this can get a bit complicated, but of course, pausing, taking a look, and generally getting an idea of what you want to do. Don't forget, you can also add resin to the black concrete to make it look like flares are coming from the build, like there's a bunch of fire somewhere. And then finally, from the front of the build, we just added extensions just like the very front of the build, except smaller on the sides, and we have a gradient. Black wool to blackstone to smithing table. And of course, smithing tables can be very expensive. If that's too much for you, you might want to invest in terracottas or an iron farm. Then, we just add more generic pieces of the build, more nether brick, things that we don't care about. We're not going to be viewing too much from this angle, so we can make it a bit more generic. Ton of windows, more generic designs to transition from the deep slate to the red nether brick roof, and of course those weird gradients I was talking about. Add more fake windows, add the resin. Just make sure if you see something in this video and you like it, put it on your list of things to add. Of course, these are mostly idea videos. And if you need any help, always ask down below. Have a very specific terrain constraint, I can help with it. So now we have all these windows, we have everything done for the front of the build, and it's absolutely absurd landscaping. So let's just take a nice good look at it, and we can see right about here is when I took a break for the build. This is very large, so that way I can make sure the interior is just as good as the exterior. So now let's actually focus on that. Going into the build, we can glide in, we can see how everything comes together, and now we have something very anticlimactic. Let's just add doors. Just to make sure those zombified piglins don't get in. Yeah, make sure your place is secured. And this is also a reason why we added that lighting. I can't guarantee the safety of this build, it is not tested with mob spawns enabled. But still, with everything enclosed with the sides, now we can do just about anything. This is why all of our windows are fake, because 1, you can see the inside of the build, we might want to do a different palette, and 2, well, we can do whatever we want now. Those double layered walls I was talking about, we can make the bottom of them black stone, or we can even do snow. I got very inspired by a particular game's update during all this, but still, we go inside here and we decorate it. Same kinds of designs. I even added a bit of endstone because I thought I was going to build an end theme section to this, but scrapped it in favor of an overworld. Fake windows, black concrete powder on the bottom. I changed it to full snow blocks later. And then we have a mosaic on the floor you could only see for just a second. We're going to cover that later. So we just need to make a floor plan for this. Your crafting tables, your furnaces, how are you going to get around? I'm going to build trading halls, storage room, and a nether portal, and then some basic utilities. There's no sleeping in the nether, so not a big concern. I did not add any respawn anchors. Place those as you please. You can even use them for decoration. So right here, the fire, the gate thing, now is a big fireplace for our build because we went on the other side. And we can decorate this all nicely with all of our utilities. We can even put a potted azalea, as comical as it is. Decorations here, the red nether brick, the pointy fences and the walls, and our floor mosaic. We have some quartz pillars, some red nether brick, ultra frog a bunch of things everywhere just to make sure it's all nicely done. The more detailed it is, then the better. So make sure you make everything as detailed as you can for the floor. Now our big goal is this. We just build an oblong circle in the middle, really just an oval, and leave it at that. We decorate the walls as much as we can using things like pale leaves, fire, nether brick, walls, whatnot. And you can see here how that all works together. Expanded this area by moving the circular section back a few blocks, and we just have the mural. Because I used World Edit, my terracotta is not lining up perfectly. You can also see ceiling, very basic. You can decorate it a bit more if you want, although then you will really have to decorate your walls. It was just quartz pillar with smooth quartz and shroom whites, with a bit of red nether brick trim. Now for our middle circular area, we just need it to connect all 4 sides of our build together, and the actual area will be completely non-functional, all decoration. So that's, well, all it is. You can see big open area up here, and we can leave it at that for now. Our big goal is just decorating the walls around and putting in the walls in the first place. So keep that in mind. Big rooms on either side of the oval, and then we'll have a big room in the back, although not nearly as big if you want. So you can see here, lots of walls to make various parts sunken in. We have some tuff introduced, snow being the bottom block, the fire, pale leaves, everything just to make sure it's interesting. This weird heart shape up here, this build is not Valentine's related at all. I don't know why I put that. We're going to add some lava there, you can see on the other side, and more of our favorite fake windows with the gradients, with hidden shroom lights. Lava up here, and we even have an inverted color flame at the very back, just to mirror the one we had at the front. More of those windows, and then we can continue all around the build and add more things as needed. I recommend personalizing those side walls to whatever part of the build they go to. Now for the middle, we're going to add some gradients. You can see an island here connected with alternating stairs and spruce logs, surrounded with some moss and green concrete. Then we have a gradient that goes blue concrete, blue terracotta, mud, skulk, black concrete powder into black concrete. And that's a lot to take in, just, rewatch as needed, or I can make a list in the comments. Then dig below all this and make yourself a hole filled with an inverse gradient from brown to gray. And you can see it's a very simple thing. Replace the very bottom of your build with black concrete. This effect works significantly better in the overworld I found later. Put some sea lanterns at the bottom, and then once you replace all of it with black concrete all the way down there, have alternating black and blue stained glass. It makes the water appear darker. It's nice having a bit more of a serene area in this very over-the-top build in order to calm the senses. So we have that working together. Because light is just better off in the Nether, it doesn't look nearly as good. You can use this in the overworld though, and it still looks good in the Nether. You might have varying mileage with the skulk and vibrant visuals. But now, we're going to do some of the same stuff we had on the exterior. So we can go up here, add that weird little hook to hide the corner, and then we're going to make this go all across. Every other block, we have black glass, and then we add some end rods to appear like the stars. We could even add a moon to this, although in my testing, I could not find a design that would work. Still, we can apply that to the whole ceiling, and what do you know? We have stars, we have a constellation, and we can even round off the corners with a bit more black stained glass. Do as you please for that. And now, we have ourselves a bit more calm and serene of an area for our middle. We even have some dark oak to divide the red nether brick from this calmer area. We're going to add a bunch of flowers and such. Wildflowers make a very good addition. We can even add some green terracotta to the mix, before finally moving into one of the ramparts of the build. This, of course, is our storage section, and we can use all of the interior space we're allotted for this. And we can go as deep as we want, as long as we don't breach the surface of another layer of the Nether. So we have all this, and we can make a big box in order to determine the scale. Right here, magenta terracotta, or concrete, and we can see here, stripy walls, we have the black stone with the quartz, and none of it is visible through the outside. Very important detail. So now, we can decorate it as you want, and I got inspired by a recent video game update, so I'm going to follow that design. So, chandeliers, you can put in some curtains every few blocks, things like that. As long as the build remains interesting. So you can see here, a whole bunch was added. And you can take a closer look, it's kind of hard to fly through now. Chandeliers, segmented, and you can see interesting carpet at the bottom made of nether wart and red carpet with frog lights under it. Bunch of chests, calcite under it as a placeholder. Replace it with the block you're actually going to use. And then on the quartz, we had fire. On the curtains, we have blackstone. The fire will not burn the curtains away. And then we even have this cool lava mural in the back. It kind of looks like a person. Don't read too far into that. That was unintentional. And then we have some crafting table, furnaces, and we even have another nether brick mural back here with more fire. A bunch of utilities, and we even have a fully kitted set of armor with the best enchants. And hooray. We just want to pause and take a look at anything I did here, and if you like it, copy it. If you didn't, well, you can always design your own, and you can look up other builds. Not in a passive-aggressive way. I mean, I'll help you as well. So now, with that room done, let's make a bartering room. And this one's a bit easier, because we're just going to go with standard nether aesthetic. We have a bunch of piglins here. This is not a very good bartering farm design. It's fully manual. But we have ourselves a bunch of things. The fire mural, some chests, the copper chest for the bartering, so that way copper golems can work for us. And then wool things. We have a piglin with a carpet below it, and we just lock them in there using pistons to move the glass above it. And now, with all this, making sure we name them, otherwise they're going to despawn. And we have the chest, we have a statue. Just make sure all your areas are filled out. The more empty your build is, the worse off it will be. You can see that side area got empty. We have a little bit of a villager containment zone, so that way we can turn those iron nuggets straight into emeralds and then go back to the overworld if we want. So now we have all that, and the ceiling is a nether portal texture. So now we finally can go to the back. This is just for a more formal nether portal and can safely be skipped if you don't need that. I have a bit of an excavated area right here, and we want to go for a very overworld palette. Although, if your blocks from the nether do look like the overworld, like soul soil, that's completely fine to use. So now we have all that in mind, stone bricks, whatnot, and a very simplistic room. This one was built more like the legacy console days, just using a few more modern blocks. And it's not the most visually stunning room, but it's vaguely nostalgic in that way, so it's perfectly serviceable. Crafting table and an ender chest, and that's all you need. And now we have all parts of our build complete. Let's go to vibrant visuals, and you can see here, absolutely stunning with that reduced fog. You can see all the dark parts of the build work very well. We even have this interior, actually unedited footage for once. And you can see the sky looks pretty cool in vibrant visuals, even if the effect is slightly different. We can go into our storage room, and everything still looks vaguely theater-esque, exactly what I was trying to go for. And you can see a little bit of the copper decoration I had. I forgot it on this side, but make sure you decorate your rooms' entrances. Just a basic trading area, we already saw it. And then we can go to the back and look at that one last portal section. And what do you know? Looks like we accidentally turned on our nostalgic shaders and stepped right back into Xbox 360 land. Those are better days. But anyways, we have all that complete, and it's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed this video, remember, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Either way, enjoy the rest of your day. Gearsaw out.